All right, let's put together the user choice club reports. So we're under reports, we're going to go to club members, and you're going to want to use the user choice club seasons. You see I have a couple made here already. Now you are going to need to use or to make one of these for each of your clubs. Another reason to scale down how many clubs you have. So here we're going to hit manage filters. We're going to pick the club that we want, and then we'll pick the season. And once we've saved this, all you'll have to do is change the season each time you open this up when you want to use it for another run. So we choose the club, and then we'll choose the season, and then we would just want active and on holds. And then go ahead and save it, give it a good name. Now we have this saved. When you're going to be making multiples of these, I would go ahead and make one and then come in, change what you need to change it to, and then hit save as. It's just like a Word doc where it's going to save a brand new report for you. That way you don't have to start from scratch every single time. And you can make a bunch of these. If you have a bunch of different clubs, you can make them pretty quickly. So for the main one here that we're doing, so we're going to be doing the red club, and what we want to do is make sure always when you're doing reports hit view just to make sure you have some stuff. Now the other main thing here is we don't need all of these columns because that's not really what this is for. So I'm going to deselect all, and then I'm going to pick the first and last name and the email. And the phone. The phone will work too because we've got some great potential here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now you can see this. Let's go ahead and export it. But the main point here is we want a little bit about the information of the person, but then what we're going to be looking for is the SKUs. And this is really going to help us out. All right, so let's take a look at what we've exported. So this is what we have. Now first off, come up here to this little triangle and double click on the line, open up all those cells. Some of these might be really long because of your product name, so you might want to shrink those down a bit. But the most important part here is getting all the numbers. And so over here we're going to add in total. And then we're going to come up here to the first row, and you are going to want to make that a filter. And then what you want to do is you're going to want to auto sum. So auto sum, and you're going to want to auto sum all the way up from the bottom of your SKUs. So we're going to get a total, and then you'll just drag that over all the way to the total column. And then what you also want to do is an auto sum, and now we want to do it across, and enter, and then we're going to fill this down. Okay. Now the whole idea here is that the bottom column, this is your inventory. Okay, all these are your inventory. But on this column, the total column, this is where you're going to be looking for your upsell ability or areas. So by getting the total, you're going to see all the people that have taken their defaults, and then what you're going to be looking for is anybody that's in between the default and getting to whatever those next levels are for you, be it if you have shipping discounts at 6 bottles or 12 bottles, wherever that breadcrumb is that you want them, or that next level you want them to get to. This is going to help you identify all those people. You'll find them in that little mid zone, and that's why we have all the information over here, so that we can put a small list together and get a hold of those people and let them know about the benefits of adding more bottles to their order. And then what we're going to do down here is we're going to take all the totals of these for these SKUs. So it's important that in each of the user choice, you try and keep the SKUs in somewhat of the same order. That way when you take these SKUs and you take these totals and you move it over to your master list, so you'll want to have a master sheet That's going to have all the SKUs. Copy that. And then we'll put all those in. And then you would paste in all the totals from all the clubs. And then you could all, well, it'll be 1, 1, and 1. Oops. 1, 1, 1. And then basically you would just keep pasting in all your totals, and if you wanted to, you could auto sum again, and then that way it would be automatic. So once you have all your clubs in, it would give you a total. Now you know what your total is for all the clubs. Do this kind of midway through the process to kind of get an idea. Obviously, this is going to be after you send out the first email, so you might want to do this maybe a few days after the first email, and then a couple days or a day prior to the club run. But it really depends on, do you need to move any inventory to make sure that you can compensate or you can fulfill all these orders, and where do we need to move that inventory? Now also keep in mind, if you are using inventory, just because you don't have it at a specific location, let's say like the tasting room, it's still at your warehouse, you can still put the numbers in WineDirect, because all that WineDirect cares about is that the actual number digitally is going to be in those locations. So in those various inventory pools, you're going to want to make sure that in those pools for each of those products, you have the right or enough in there. You can always physically move your wine later to be able to handle whatever those totals are, but just keep in mind that the system doesn't know that. It doesn't know your physical. It just needs to know your digital. So putting this together, again, keep this nice and short and sweet, just some of this information. Then you just want the SKUs, put in total, auto sum, and do that for each club. You'll get your totals, and it'll be a quick thing. All right, hope that helped.